All right, y'all. Welcome back to TSP. I'm Dr. Evil Genius.
And I'm Captain Paul.
All right. So there was a really interesting story that I knew was going to come out when I saw there were some trailers coming out for a film that I thought, okay, I looked at it and I said, you know what? I really don't think that this particular film is going to make it. I did not think that too many people were going to go see this particular film, and I wondered if it was just going to be a how do you say? I wonder if it was just going to be an experiment to see how far America has come with the alphabet soup, and whether or not it is something that Americans want to order off the menu.
And it seems like Campbell's alphabet soup isn't as desirable as people thought. So keep going. This is an interesting story.
Well, it ended up flopping. I mean, who knew?
Go figure. Are you saying that the majority of the population don't want to see two dudes pound each other out? Oh man, I'm just saying. All right, let's get into it.
I mean, even in our society that people have always claimed to be heteronormative, what kind of same-sex scenes do most people want to see if you had no choice? What same-sex scene would people rather see from both genders? What would they rather see?
Oh, girl on girl.
Right.
100%. 100%.
Okay. On the women's side, they don't really, like men that much, and it is what it is, right? But on the men's side, men don't really like men that much, as well. Okay.
Yep.
So there's an actor. His name is Billy Eichner, as you can see. He acted in this film, and the film had a budget of over $20 million.
Ooh, some decent budget.
And its opening weekend, it was fourth. It placed fourth in its opening weekend, and they took in less than $5 million. So let's get into a little bit of what's happening here. Who is at fault for Bro's less than stellar debut at the box office? According to star Billy Eichner, straight people may be to blame for not seeing his history-making queer rom-com. Number one, men don't like rom-coms. I'm just going to come out and say it. We don't like romantic comedies, even when they feature a man chasing after, simping after a woman. We don't tend to go for that stuff. Okay, let's just keep this in perspective here. The film is, quote, the first gay rom-com from a major studio with an openly alphabet soup principal cast, and upon this September 30 release, was marked a box office flop, making 40% less than expected during its opening weekends, per the New York Times. Now, they had to have known most people are just not going to get down with that, but they didn't even meet their low expectations. And I got to tell you guys something. You would think, 4.5 or 4.8 million, whatever it was, you would think, wow, that's a lot of tickets sold. But coming out of the Rona, movie tickets cost a whole lot more. The whole movie theater industry basically faced abject destruction at the hands of the Rona. The lockdowns came. Nobody was able to go to a theater. AMC needed to become a meme stock and saved by our Wall Street bets in order to stay existing. So the movie theater industry was already in trouble. They're having to make up for 2 years of people not being able to or feeling safe to go to movie theaters. So when, me and Mrs. Evil went to go to the movie theater and we saw the ticket prices were above $20 a ticket, you know what we did? We kept it fucking pushing. And we're talking about a movie we were actually interested in seeing. Okay? Yep. All right? So if you're making 4 point whatever million when ticket prices are almost double what they used to be, then
that's awful. That's awful.
The situation is actually a whole lot worse than you're letting on. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just kind of one of those things that when it kind of comes down to it, movie theaters have had to evolve these past year because, like, yeah, I see ones locally near me that they've had like recliners and luxurious more things to like entice people to go to the movies because everything, right, is at our fingertips. Like, we can just stay home and watch a movie. We can just really enjoy the experience from our own home. Now, some people like going to the theater and enjoying it. That's a whole different conversation. But for this movie to fail this spectacularly is hilarious. Let's just keep going into the article, man, because this is comedy gold within itself. It's a romantic comedy. This is more like a tragic comedy. Let's keep going.
Eichner, who co-wrote and leads the comedy, tweeted about watching Bros from the, quote, back of a sold-out theater in Los Angeles. The audience howled with laughter, start to finish, burst into applause at the end, and some were wiping away tears as they walked out. It was truly magical, end quote. Did you see what city he mentioned the theater was in?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about one of the epicenters of Hollywood, where they're not that far from San Francisco, right? It's a major metropolitan area, which we know caters to people of certain lifestyles and certain political leanings.
Yep.
They shall not be named. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you gathered all of the people that are down with that lifestyle. So you thought the whole country's gonna, oh my God, we've got a hit on our hands. And that's how you end up with Trump as president. Because everybody thought that because you shamed all the conservatives into silence, conservatives didn't exist anymore.
So like the one hilarious part about that quote is like, you know, and then fireworks went off and rainbows came out of their assholes. Like, bro,
well,
like
that actually did happen.
But like, how are you going to verify this? Didn't give a movie theater. Like, honestly, the numbers around the country have been poor, really poor. And that's not to be surprised when you kind of, you know, I'm fine if people want to tell a certain story, go ahead. Doesn't mean it's profitable, though. I mean, it's not a majority of people are in that lifestyle. And I'm not talking down, be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, but just be honest with ourselves here. It's not as marketable and it's not going to be successful because not everyone understands that lifestyle or is into that lifestyle. Like, so some people just don't want to see that. Sorry.
And we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But it says and here's another thing that really annoys me about this. He noted the film's critical acclaim, garnering glowing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and Cinema Score, and even finding its way onto Rolling Stone's list of best comedies of the 21st century, where it sits at number 67 out of 70. Despite the pushbacks they received. At one point, a theater chain called Universal and said they were pulling the trailer because of the gay content. If anybody's seen the trailer, if the things that they were doing in the trailer, if it was straight people, it would get banned. And the thing is, I know gay people. I'm friends with gay people. One of the things that they kind of bristle at is the fact that some people in the community try to sell their lifestyle to the world as one massive orgy. And that is not what the gay experience actually is. They're human beings that have relationships that are not too unlike heteronormative relationships. Like, the relationships themselves are not all that different in the dynamic. Some people believe that the dynamics are actually more simple because guys understand other guys better. So there are people that are actually they're jealous of the dynamic that gay guys have because it's just a simplified relationship model compared to heterosexual relationship. I'm talking about the simplicity and the ease of the flow of the relationship. That's all I'm talking about.
But if we're going to talk about something like ease of the relationship, also do realize statistics do say that gay men are far less faithful and they will not stay together as long as other. But
they understand that, and they don't. A lot of them don't require strict monogamy because they understand the male nature better. That goes more to my point. They're not breaking up because one guy plugged another guy. Like that's their expectation. They don't have this weird delusion of strict monogamy like you see in heterosexual relationships and in some lesbian relationships. They don't have, and that's why you also see that gay men have the lowest rates of relationship violence, of what they call intimacy violence. Right. So they have the lowest rates of any combination, including heterosexuals, for a reason. Right. So this is not to bash the gay guys. This is about the fact that you have people saying, well, I was in the back of a sold out theater in a liberal oasis, and all of the liberal outlets say it's the greatest thing ever. News fucking flash. Not everybody's a big city liberal.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a fact. Yeah.
This is come on, man. Come with the fucking pop-ups. That's just the world we live in, unfortunately, even with glowing reviews and great Rotten Tomato scores. Like, we give a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes. We already know that shit is rigged.
Yeah.
Straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, just didn't show up for bros. That's disappointing, but it is what it is. Everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo, right? So here's my problem.
If you don't watch the movie, you're okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Here's my problem. When I heard all of this shit in the early 2000s, where they were really pushing, and they told us there was no alphabet agenda. That's what we were told, even though there are books published by gay people in the 1980s outlining what it was. Right? Like, they actually have books in publication that you can go and buy on Amazon right now that outline exactly what the agenda is. Right? Mm-hmm. But they said up and down, there is no agenda. We're not trying to influence anybody else. We just want to be able to live. That's what they said.
Yep.
Right? Now we've got this where, hey, if you don't give us money and give us your attention, then we're just going to hit you with a derogatory slur.
I mean, are you surprised?
You have to prove to us that you don't hate us by giving us money to go see something you have no interest in. See, if you don't have interest in what we're offering, you're a bigot. Yep. How did we go from just leave us alone and stop assaulting us in the streets to you need to co-sign what we're doing, otherwise ...
Well, the problem with this statement that this guy is making, that he's calling everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo should go see this movie. He's like, bro, listen, as for being put on the road, who gives a shit? You're going to say a movie's the 67th best comedy of the 21st century after only being out for a week? I think that's kind of a fucking reach, in my opinion. But when it kind of comes down to it, when you have this language of attacking other people, they're just not going to watch your movie even further. Let's just call it how it is, man. What's the percentile about normal straight people in this country, right? It's in the 90, as the majority population is straight. And not many people outside of that community are going to want to watch a movie about two gay men grabbing ass and sucking. It's I'm sorry, bro. It's just not happening, dude. This is the low T show at this point, because this is just foolish. This is just absolute foolishness, bro. Do you be happy in your life? I hope that is not what is taken from my statements. I don't care what people do in their own life, but just because you do that doesn't mean it's marketable, right? It doesn't. It doesn't mean it's marketable. Like, because the majority amount of people, like, do you think in like down in like Alabama, they're like, whoa, yeah, that's exactly what I want to see. Like down in the Bible Belt? No, it's the truth. I hate to tell you all this, but it is what it is. Not many people are going to want to see a bunch of dudes playing grab ass. It is what it is. So, you know, you can say it's homophobic. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, Billy. But quite frankly, your movie is to a niche audience. You went to a LA liberal theater. Of course they're going to be like, if they didn't stand up and start slapping like seals, I would have been surprised. Like, yeah, I would have been absolutely surprised. Like, I would have been absolutely surprised. So no, people, no, we're not. No one's me or Evil aren't homophobes. So we don't want to watch it.
Yeah, we're not afraid. We're not afraid.
Like,
of
I'm
gay
not afraid.
Men.
I'm not afraid.
Any fear of them.
No, I'm not afraid of you. I just don't want to see it, man. That's it. Like, it's not interesting.
We're not aligned.
No, dude, in romantic comedies, anyways, I'm not into that shit.
And that's what I said at the outset, right? We don't care about romantic comedies. We don't care.
Nope. I mean, that's all I gotta really say, man. Like,
well, guess what? Someone else has something to say, Captain Paul.
Oh shit!
Dot Marie Jones slams low turnout for bros. It's not contagious. Effing go see a movie. Do you know how we know it's not contagious, Captain Paul?
Monkeypox.
We're going to be the next to be deplatformed, folks. You see it right here in real time. The deplatforming of the Talking Shit podcast. It's happening right here before your very eyes. Sorry. This is Dot Marie Jones, by the way. Definitely, when you're thinking about going to go spend your money, this is the face that you want to go see. This is definitely an inviting face that says, you know what? Let me take my limited, expendable income when inflation is through the goddamn roof. When I can barely pay my bills, let me go buy a movie ticket for $23, like it is here in New York City. Let me go spend $23 to look at that face.
Yep. I mean,
okay. I just want to make it very, very clear, right? I'm not ragging on the person. Be whoever the fuck you want to be, but let's face the fucking facts, right? People they spend their money where they're entertained. Yep. Do you know why there are no fans going to see Florida Marlins games?
Because they suck.
Because they have. That is number one. They suck. They're not an entertaining team. Okay. But also, they're in South fucking Florida where there are women in bikinis on the beach. Why the fuck would you want to sit and watch baseball when there are beautiful women in bikinis on the beach? If you had a choice, what would you be doing? Standing up for the seventh inning stretch or go look at some big ass? What are you going to choose?
Obviously, the latter.
Does it make you a bigot because you don't want to go see Florida Marlins games, Miami Marlins games? No, you have other things to be entertained by. And I'm sorry, ma'am, Miss Dot Marie, you do not have the look of someone that straight people are going to be entertained by. I'm sorry. Moving into the comments. After a low opening turnout in theaters for Alphabet Soup rom-com Bros, writer and star Billy Eichner wrote on Twitter Sunday, it was disappointing that straight people, especially in certain parts of the country where we know they're not going to show up, didn't actually show up. Dot Marie Jones, who also co-stars in the film, echoed Eichner's sentiment Sunday evening at the Best in Drag show. Hello! Most people are not going to go to a drag show. Look at where you're giving your fucking comments. You're niche as fuck.
Yep.
Could you imagine if I got mad that my Call of Duty gameplay commentary channel didn't take off in 2022? Everybody's a bigot, Captain Paul, because nobody wanted to watch Dr. Evil play Infinite Warfare.
Absolutely. Didn't want to see a black man succeed. That's pretty racist. You know what I mean? Bro, dude, let me be your marketing guy, bro. Are you not subscribed? Do you just hate black people? Like, dude, we could, that's how we're going to start advertising this podcast, dude. If you do not subscribe, you do not support black business.
Oh my God, we're going to hell. So they do the benefit for people living with AIDS and HIV. I don't have a problem. You just have to understand that the amount of donations you're going to get are not going to be large. You're not going to get a wide ranging number of people who are going to donate to that because it's especially niche. Okay.
Yep.
There's so much heart and so many wonderful good laughs in this movie. I don't know if it's because it's, alphabet soup. It's not contagious. Fucking go see a movie. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy that people would go see the movies that they want to see and not go to see the movies they don't want to see. I mean, help me out here.
I just think it's comical. I just think it's comical. Like, I think a lot of this is that they're upset their movie isn't getting play. It's not, getting the amount of favor that they thought it would, right?
Let me ask you this question.
Because they are themselves in small niche communities that prop this up and like, oh my God, Timothy, that'd be such a great idea. Yes, Sarah. Like they only talk to within their in group. But go ahead. What's your question?
Let me ask you this question, Cap. Did we hear this kind of stuff from Halle Berry when Catwoman flopped? Just that, Cap, sir.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
I mean, think about all the movies that have flopped in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot. There's a lot of movies that come out with expectations, and then you go to the theater and it just sucks. And like, not a complete side point, but like those ratings I can't trust either because those studios pay those publications to do favorable reviews on some of them. I'm not saying every single one.
We also know that there's a certain group of people that dominate the review sites. They're all on one side of the political aisle that should not be named.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, it kind of comes down to, how true and genuine, and it like Rotten Tomatoes too. They have verified users and then just regular users. And if you look at the split, which I was just doing, some will be very positive in the unverified ones, but there's a lot of 1 and 2 stars and stuff like that. It's just, to me, it's you made a comedy. Like, that's already, romantic comedies to me already has a niche audience. But then in that niche audience, you even lessened the audience with going with a niche topic like that. And for you to expect it to be a gross profiting film, $5 million your first week, like you said, with essentially double the charge of what it used to be, is laughable. Quite frankly, you might not see this movie stay in the theater rotations for very long. Because usually when movies do bad, the theaters pull them. They're like, well, maybe we'll just like put Men in Black, you know what I mean, and have a Will Smith Jada fucking compilation.
Well, they know that's going to flop too, which is why he lost a lot of opportunities as well. Because in the end, it's the money. And the thing is, when you talk about, they say, I don't know, and here's this line right here. I don't know if it's because alphabet soup, right? Do you remember a certain HBO series that was wildly popular called The L Word? Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. I didn't watch it, but...
Okay. Let me tell you something. Probably one of HBO's most popular series ever. Not probably as much as I would say like The Wire, but definitely one of the most popular series one of the most popular original HBO original series that ever released. You don't think that counts as alphabet soup? Okay, so this is not about, right? Like, you want to make it, you want to blame your failures. You want to blame your failures on people who are just not ideologically aligned with you, supporting you and giving you money. And I think that we have reached a place in society where people are just going to have to continue to stand their ground. I think that a lot of the shaming tactics, a lot of the sign language that you're seeing in society, you're going to have to just let it roll off your back. Okay. These people thought that they were going to be able to indoctrinate people and influence people into joining in with them because, and I've said this for the last almost 20 years. When somebody has to sell you on their lifestyle super hard, to me, it shows that they are not convinced that the way they're going is the right way. So they're not content with simply just living their life. And this does not apply to all gay people. This is we're talking about the ones that are trying to throw it in people's faces, right? So this does not apply to all gay people. This probably doesn't even apply to most gay people. In fact, for the ones that I know, a lot of them just want to be, left to live their own lives, right? But when we're talking about the people that are in the front eye trying to push, you're not sure that what you're doing is right, because if you were absolutely sure, you would not need my cosign. But now you're begging and demanding. You're demanding my cosign when I'm just over here living my life. You see, like, I can go see a movie, but if I'm going to go spend my money and my time, I'm going to go spend my money and time with things I'm going to be entertained by, not the things that you believe that I should be entertained by.
Well, Evil, I got a cold truth here, man. You cannot force people to like your movie. And just because you partake in the movie, you think it's great, doesn't mean the general population is going to think it's great. I mean, the cold truth of this situation is that you made a very small niche type movie, even smaller due to the topic of it, and it's flopped. And if you didn't really see it not having a huge turnout, I mean, I think you're just blind. So if you're going to sit here and complain about it not making budget, it not making this, well, I don't know, maybe have a smaller budget, or I don't know, just make it more opening so people that aren't within that community would be more willing to see it. Because we've said it time and time again, men aren't really into romantic comedies. So when you make this type of film, like, I don't really understand, besides the alphabet soup, who is your demographic? Because that's it. And that's the minority in this country. So your movie's failing because it's just a poor concept altogether. So.
And that's the long and the short of it, folks. Obviously, if you've watched all the way to the end of this video, you understand that, yes, we do a lot of cold truth here, but the hot takes, holy fucking crap, we're definitely going to hell. If you would like to slide into the underworld alongside us, definitely hit that subscribe button. Share this video with people that might want to enter the conversation. Also, speaking of that very same conversation, down in the comments below, you let us know. Did you go see Bros? Will you go see Bros? How many times will you go see the Bros broing? We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.